Longtime subscribers of this channel will remember that on August 25th of last year, I made a video called Unclenching Your ADA Grip. We were almost at all-time highs, and we talked about how it's okay to part with your assets and take profit. Then on December 8th of last year, I made a video called Cardano and Winter Preparedness. In that one, we discussed the coming crypto winter, and the all-time highs were already behind us. Now here we are in July of 2022, and we find ourselves surrounded, maybe buried, waist deep in that very crypto winter. But just like the inevitability of the current season was predictable, spring will also come eventually. And it's looking like Cardano is going to have a very good spring indeed. Ready? Let's go. Today, we're going to discuss big layoffs at one of the biggest players in the NFT world, a proposal for a new Cardano metadata standard, the regulatory maturation of a Cardano DeFi infrastructure project, the next IOHK Dev update, and news of a virtual metaverse-based Cardano conference. If you refuse to believe that we could possibly be in crypto winter in the middle of Northern Hemisphere summer, or if you're finding value in these videos each weekday, please consider delegating to the Army of Spies stake pool, ticker AOS. Tomorrow, I'm going to be in a Twitter space with Yazan from Virtua at 4 p.m. UTC. I believe 4 p.m. UTC is noon Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific, if that helps anybody figure out when this is going down. But tomorrow, 4 p.m. UTC. I know some of you are wondering, no, this is not any kind of paid appearance. I'm not being compensated in any way for this, not receiving any free NFTs or anything like this. They just asked me if I wanted to jump into a Twitter space with them, and I've never been in a Twitter space before, and I thought it might be a great way to interact with any of you, members of the Army of Spies, people who listen to this channel. So feel free to come on by tomorrow if you're available to this Twitter space, 4 p.m. UTC. I'm also exploring the possibility of having a monthly sponsor of the channel. So if your project is interested, hit me up on Twitter at Army Spies, just at Army Spies on Twitter. We are obviously deep in crypto winter. As you know, OpenSea is one of the biggest platforms in the greater crypto NFT space. And here the CEO is telling us, today is a hard day for OpenSea as we're letting go of approximately 20% of our team. Here's the note I shared with our team earlier this morning. Come down here. He said, "Hi all, we made an incredibly sad and difficult decision to reduce the size of our team by approximately 20%. Today we're saying goodbye to many of our friends and team members. Each of the people leaving has played a critical role in OpenSea's journey. They've supported our users, championed our mission, and worked intensely to build the formations of the NFT space." Then they talk about what they're giving the people who are leaving. It sounds like there's some severance involved, some healthcare coverage into 2023. That's pretty valuable for anybody that has a family, for sure, to not have their healthcare coverage suddenly turned off. And they're also giving them accelerated equity vesting. So that's not bad. Down here below, they say, the changes we're making today put us in a position to maintain multiple years of runway under various crypto winter scenarios, 5 years at the current volume, and give us high confidence that we will only have to go through this process once. This is interesting. I'm sure the people who were let go, some of them are probably thinking, okay, probably smart, but fairly brutal. Why couldn't you have just given yourself a 3-year runway and kept me on for the extra instead of the extra 2 years? But OpenSea says, we've been through winter before, and we built this company with the cyclicality of crypto in mind. We've also built a very strong balance sheet through the money we've raised and the product market fit we've proven. We have a huge opportunity in front of us during this winter. I expect that we'll see an explosion in innovation and utility across NFTs, exactly what we talked about yesterday in the video on this channel. With the hard but important changes we made today, we're in an even better position to capture what will soon become the largest market on the planet. I'm afraid we've already seen quite a bit of this in crypto, quite a bit of companies downsizing because they're making decisions based on what's happening in the macro world, what they're seeing with the Fed and the CPI, and how the CPI might affect what the Fed's doing. In fact, this little note comes just a day after we saw that CPI of, what was it, 9.1%. So while this is probably pretty brutal if you're in that 20% of employees, and this does look like a fairly generous package. I mean, not bad. Generous severance and healthcare coverage into 2023. Not all employees are that lucky. The companies that are willing to do this kind of thing will probably be in a pretty good position when they come out of crypto winter. We can see, even at the current volume that they're seeing at OpenSea, these guys can be around for 5 years without us getting to crypto spring. And the thing is, we don't know how deep in crypto winter we are already. We know we're in crypto winter for sure. The snow is waist deep, but we don't know when spring is actually coming. We know that spring will come. Just like crypto winter always comes, spring will come. The part that nobody knows is when that might happen. Crypto companies are pretty shrewd, especially if they're led by crypto veterans who've been through a couple of these market cycles. So we'll probably see some more downsizing here and there from notable crypto companies and crypto platforms. Because just like we don't know when crypto spring is going to come, there's also no one who knows how deep this crypto winter can get. It might be that it doesn't get much deeper. This is it. And it might be that it gets deeper. Companies like this are probably, at least mentally, assigning probabilities to the various scenarios. What is the percentage chance that this is the bottom, that it doesn't get much worse than this? What's the percentage chance that it gets 10% worse than this, 20% worse than this, 50% worse than this? How bad can things get? What are the chances that things get really bad? Because under different scenarios, if we get much, much deeper into crypto winter, this 5 years could become 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, even 1 year. But that's just how things look over in the EVM project world. In Cardano, it's different. In the EVM world, they know there's a possibility they may have already seen their best days. Those monster valuations they experienced already may have been the biggest they ever see, because while they had first mover advantage, and sometimes only mover advantage during the last cycle, they know other blockchains are on the come up right now, and those other blockchains have other projects that might be doing the same thing better. And maybe even just as importantly, those other blockchains might be like Cardano, and maybe they weren't touched by all of the Terra Luna UST 3AC madness. Maybe these other blockchains, because they're younger and they weren't up and running, they didn't have the heavy interoperability yet, they were insulated from all of the trauma and scarring from the cascading failures that are happening right now over on that side. A year from now, who will be left standing that's not scarred by what's currently happening in the EVM world? Certainly, a bunch of projects over in the EVM world will survive all this, but you've also got these blockchains like Cardano, where almost everything was insulated from all that. Almost everything was left untouched. And those projects can look at what just happened in the EVM world, learn from it, and try to make sure it doesn't happen over on this side. The Cardano projects never really saw, or at least we can say largely, they never saw those kinds of monster valuations, because all of the Cardano projects were building while all that was going on. So now that we're deep, undeniably in crypto winter, and the news comes around, hey guys, it's crypto winter, time to just put your heads down and build. All of the Cardano builders are like, that's what we've been doing this whole time. This is no change for us. All we've been doing is building. We're just going to keep doing what we've been doing this entire time. Here's a great example of that. Alessandro, a prolific builder in the Cardano ecosystem, bringing us lots of great things like Nami Wallet and Space Buds and pretty much the whole architecture for Cardano NFT distribution, at least the early architecture. Here he is saying, I'm proposing a new metadata standard together with Thomas Vellacoop from IOG. As near as I can tell, this dude is spending all day dealing with art problems. And then at night, while the rest of us are sleeping, he's like, why don't I use this time to cook up a new metadata standard? Here is SIP 68, Datum Metadata Standard number 299. He says this proposal defines a metadata standard for native assets, making use of output datums not only for NFTs, but any asset class. And he'll get into that in a little bit later. He says SIP 25 has plenty of limitations. To name a few, zero programmability. It is very hard to update, evolve the metadata. The metadata are not readable from a Plutus validator. What is this SIP 25, you ask? If we come over here to SIP 25, we can see that it was a proposal to define an NFT metadata standard for native tokens, and the authors were Alessandro and Smaugpool, who you know from pool.pm. So Alessandro is now just updating the original metadata standard that he originally authored. Coming back to this new Cardano improvement proposal, we can see that these Cardano guys never stop building. That original SIP 25 was back in April of 2021. Here we are in July of 2022, still building. Crypto winter is not going to be a big change for the Cardano builders. They've been building this whole time and they're going to keep building. He says this standard tackles all these problems and offers many more advantages, not only for NFTs, but also for any asset class that may follow. This is kind of interesting. So he says the basic idea is to have two assets issued, and this is why this can benefit other asset classes besides NFTs. The basic idea is to have two assets issued where one references the other. We call these two a reference NFT and a user token, where the user token can be an NFT, fungible token, or any other asset class that is transferable and represents any value. So the user token is the actual asset that lives in a user's wallet. To find the metadata for the user token, you need to look for the output where the reference NFT is locked. He goes on to explain that this could accommodate immutable data if the reference NFT is locked at an address of an unspendable script. He also says if you want the NFT or fungible token to evolve, the reference NFT can be locked at the address of a script with arbitrary logic that you decide. And all of this can be used by a Plutus version 2 script with reference inputs, which are being put in place by Vossel in SIP 31. Are NFTs on OpenSea going to experience the same kind of revolutionary changes that NFTs in the Cardano world are going to after the Vossel hard fork? Probably not in the foreseeable future. Speaking of evolution and change, we're just now seeing the regulatory maturation of probably one of the most well-known Cardano DeFi infrastructure platforms. DripDropz released this little article, and it delivers a few different bits of information. So the first bit is that they're going to have staking on DripDropz, and you can read all about that here in this article on Medium, which you can find from the DripDropz Twitter profile. But then comes some different types of news. DripDropz has registered as a money services business with FinCEN. So this means they have to do certain things because FinCEN is a part of the US Treasury Department. And what FinCEN is interested in is mitigating money laundering, catching people who are trying to launder money. They're all about the AML world, anti-money laundering. So what happens is if you're registered as a money services business with FinCEN, you end up doing AML stuff. That means you're monitoring what's happening inside your ecosystem. And when you notice something suspicious, you have to file what's called a suspicious activity report. You file that with FinCEN, tell them what's going on, what looks suspicious. It's a little report. And then FinCEN will look at that and decide if it's anything that they need to follow up with. So, of course, as DripDropz registers as a FinCEN money services business, they also need to start doing AML stuff. And here they tell you that there are going to be certain tiers. They say DripDropz implemented a policy that allows plenty of room for fun, but protects the platform and all of our community by ensuring that large sums of money aren't being washed through token distributions. We currently track the price of all tokens on several Cardano dexes. We aggregate this information and give a running average price per token. This lets us estimate a USD equivalent price for your token haul and set our AML tiers. These tiers are calculated for all drops over a 24-hour period. And it looks like here they are saying if you're a guest user, you can do under $100. If you're a logged in user, you can do under $500. To do anything above that, it looks like you will need to KYC. Looks like this Friday is going to be an IOHK Dev update with Triple H and others. You can hear all about how the Vassal progress is going right at the IOHK YouTube channel. Finally, it looks like FutureFest is trying to hold a virtual Cardano convention that is metaverse based. They say, vote for Cardano virtual convention. We will build and host virtual conferences highlighting projects in the ecosystem. Projects can customize their area to showcase their brand. We want to provide a venue for the Cardano community. And they show you a little constructed still here of what such a convention might look like. It looks like this is a Catalyst proposal. I've actually been looking at the Twitter profile for FutureFest recently. I had heard the name, I sort of knew it existed, but I didn't really understand what was going on. But I watched some videos of some of their recent concerts, and the production value seemed to be in the videos on their Twitter feed that I can see. The production value seemed to be way higher than I expected. And they've actually got DJs giving concerts that I've heard of, like Cascade. I'm a little bit intrigued with what FutureFest has got going on. I don't really understand exactly how it works. I think you have to buy one of these little NFTs and then you can attend those concerts. But I think I'm actually going to buy one of these little NFTs. If that's the ticket price I have to pay to go to one of these concerts and see if the production if the production value is as high as it looks in these videos. And also, I mean, obviously the videos are just kind of showing what the entire concert looks like. I can't tell if your view of what's going on is sort of from your avatar or exactly what's going on. I basically don't know what's going on with this project, but I'm intrigued. So I'm probably going to buy one of these little NFTs and try to go to one of their events and just see what it is, because I've always been sort of curious if somebody would build a really cool live metaverse based venue for anything, whether it was music or live events like conventions. Could someone build one that was fun to attend? I've been to little concerts in Decentraland and they were okay, but they didn't look as cool as some of the videos that FutureFest is putting up. So I think I'm gonna try to learn a little bit more about this project and maybe just buy one of these little NFTs and try to attend one of their events and just kind of see if this is as big a step forward as it looks like for the videos on their Twitter profile. But I hope everybody is getting ready for a great weekend. It's still summertime up here in the Northern Hemisphere. So hopefully everybody is staying cool, not having any problems with no air conditioning, but still enjoying all the great outdoor things in the summer. And I will talk to you soon.